Microsoft has released their Q2 earnings, and the numbers look a lot worse than they actually are. So Microsoft released their Q2 2020 financial report with some depressing numbers. Now, this report represents the holiday season, more specifically the last quarter of 2019. So let's take a look at it. Gaming revenues are down 21%, and Xbox content and service revenues are down 11%. These are compared to the same period in 2018. But when you dive deeper into it, these numbers sound a lot worse than they actually are. Firstly, the decrease in revenues was expected with the console generation coming to an end and the release of the Xbox Series X imminent. A reduction in hardware sales is normal. This happens every single time at the end of a generation. Gamers have made up their mind about what they're going to be purchasing in the next generation, even before the consoles are released. So we already know that gamers are either going to be saving up and waiting for the Xbox Series X, or they're going to be saving up and waiting for the PlayStation 5. And then obviously you also have those fringe gamers who don't really know exactly what they want yet. Or you also have those gamers who will be getting both. But everyone really knows that the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 is on the way, so going out right now to buy an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4 may not be the best investment. Now, when talking about the service revenues being down 21%, in 2018 there was a third-party game, they said, which we can presume to be Fortnite, provided Xbox with a huge bump in service revenues, but did not perform as well in 2019. This just really meaning that less people are purchasing microtransactions and DLC or whatever else you can buy in Fortnite through the Microsoft Store. So those were the two big numbers that were down and got a lot of people talking and sort of concerned potentially for the Xbox. But when you really look at the reasonings why they're down, it really is not a concern. So with those two numbers out of the way, you can pretty much say that those were pretty valid explanations as to why they're down, and it is not all doom and gloom. As we know, this generation, in particular the Xbox One, has not sold nearly as well as the PlayStation 4 or even the Nintendo Switch, which was announced to have supposedly already surpassed the Xbox One with only 3.5 years on the market. Now, the Nintendo Switch has been selling like hotcakes. This isn't a surprise. So this isn't something that comes as a shock to people following the industry. Now, with all that being said, one of the positive numbers that came out of this Xbox financial report was that operating income was up 41%, and this can be attributed to the redeployment of engineering resources to higher growth opportunities. Now, this can be taken for a lot of different things. You can really come up with your own determination of what that means. But with that being said, that 41% increase is even with the fact that Microsoft has acquired all of these new studios, has hired a bunch of new employees, and that's to funnel a ton of money into all of these new studios to create these games. Now, jumping from the Xbox earnings call over to the Microsoft earnings call, there was a lot of good news for Xbox, which really paints the entire picture of Xbox as a brand. So some really good stuff for Xbox is that Xbox Live has continued to grow, setting a record for Xbox Live monthly active users, and Xbox Game Pass has more than doubled this quarter. These two things in particular has really helped Microsoft's revenue reach 36.9 billion, which means it is up 14%. Now, when you're looking at that, it really shows you the entire picture and the path that Xbox and Microsoft is going down with the Xbox ecosystem. We know that Xbox now is all about their services and using their services anywhere. That comes with Xbox Game Pass on PC, Xbox Game Pass on your Xbox, and then using their Xbox Cloud service, which will be coming out called Xcloud. Right now it's in beta. That being, you're gonna be able to play Xbox Game Pass anywhere. On your smartphone, on your PC, on your console, anywhere that you have access to Xcloud, you're gonna be able to play Xbox games and Xbox Game Pass. They clearly just wanna push Xbox Game Pass and then push Xcloud for the future, because if you have Xbox Game Pass, you have a catalog of already over hundreds of games that you really can play anywhere, anytime, and you don't need any console to actually play them. So I may be naive, but I honestly think the folks over at Xbox are not concerned at all by the revenues being down 21% and the service revenues being down 11%, because they are seeing the growth in Xbox Game Pass and the growth in Xbox Live, and that is their strategy, and that's what they're going for. Now, besides those numbers, there was also actually a really interesting quote that came out of that Microsoft earnings call from CEO Satya Nadella, who talked about Xcloud and its potential impact on Azure. And as we know, Azure is a platform that Microsoft uses for their cloud services. This is what he had to say. Xcloud, I think, is a great workload. I mean, we've always had the mantra of first party equals third party, whether it's any of the workloads internally really helping us understand the new patterns, which then of course third parties can use. And you can see that even in terms of how Sony will use some of these same infrastructure capabilities. So we're excited about what Xcloud teaches us, but more importantly, we're excited about how others in the ecosystem can use the same capability for their streaming needs. It was a really interesting quote. You can take a lot out of it. It is a bit vague, but really they're saying that their first party infrastructure with Azure and Xcloud is going to be also allowed to be used by third parties who potentially could branch out and create streaming services, use the information from that to feed us games that we are interested in playing, to see what stuff we're using on Xbox Game Pass through Xcloud, and then maybe provide more types of games like that with the service, third party or first party. There's a lot that can be done. It is interesting to see how this is going to play out going forward, but all in all, I think all of this information is really just telling us that the transition away from hardware being the main point of emphasis for companies in gaming, determine whether they're successful or not, and for the actual strategy that Game Pass and Xbox and everything within the ecosystem is employing is working, and they're slowly transitioning away from the old way that the video game industry is working, and we're going to see that further with the Xbox Series X. So that's just what I think. I mean, this for Xbox and everything is good. As personally, I like having physical stuff. I like the hardware. I like the physical games and all that kind of stuff. But I know as we go forward, 2020 and beyond, I'm going to have to start wrapping my head around that everything is going to be going digital. And I mean, that's the way of the future, and Xbox is embracing it. They're the first there. So we'll see how this plays out in the future. Well, it's going to be really interesting when Sony eventually releases their Game Pass style service, because you know what's going to happen, to see how it compares and how they compete against each other then. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. It really helps me out. Maybe spread this video around. Let me know what you think about any of this stuff in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next video.